Yo, what's up? All right, man. This is Set here, spiritual and business consultant. How y'all doing? If it's your first time joining my channel, welcome. And I guess this video, I'm gonna answer a little bit. Somebody in the comment section asked about basically soul snatchers, Shang Tsung ass people, right? And basically, my answer is I do believe that's a thing scientifically. I believe that scientifically and mathematically that is possible to snatch somebody's soul using mathematics. You can snatch somebody's soul using mathematics. You can snatch somebody's soul using physics. And you can snatch somebody's soul using witchcraft and things of that matter, right? Um, Even God actually believes in soul snatching. I guess I mean he will at some point he's gonna supposedly, presumably, allegedly destroy evil, right? That's basically he's gonna basically soul snatch evil because that's the only way to truly destroy evils by soul snatching it. You have to obliterate everything, right? So because if you only destroy the man, that's not gonna do anything. There's always gonna be another man to pick up where the other guy left off, right? So you can't obliterate evil just by fighting men. You have to completely obliterate the soul of the said evil in order for the evil never to come back again. The reason why I put air quotes is because from my perspective, it's not a good thing to completely destroy the soul of evil. I don't know if you catch my meaning, but the thing is, you're a perfect balance. I'm a perfect balance, right? I have light and I have dark. If you have too much light, you become neurotic. You have neurosis. How do you say it? Psychosis. Um, all kinds of shit, right? You could become narrow, intolerant, narrow, shallow-minded, um, unbearable, even. So that's what happens when you have too much light. And that's pretty bad enough, right? Of course, when you're when you're 100% darkness, you are obviously a bad person, right? But nevertheless, in my case, I have a balance of both. I have the dark side, which is the fun side, which is addiction, gluttonous, deceit, uh, deceit. What else? What else do I have? Narcissism, self love. What's the other word again? Egocentrism. I have egocentrism. Uh, and all those things to me are kind of my God. It's kind of like my God. Why? Because I created a soul for this thing. I put a name on it, and now I can interact with it in order to gain something or to have the upper hand in a said situation. So I don't use my darkness to hurt and maim people, whether it's physically or mentally, but I will use it if it will help me or other people. Like if anybody's in immediate danger, I will use that. If anybody is if I'm in immediate danger, I will use darkness. I'm not gonna use light because light is not gonna help me. So which also includes fighting and blah blah blah. Yeah, you already know that. The light side is good because that's where I gain. That's how I have access to knowledge. That's how I have access to discernment. If I know if something is good or bad, if I know is the way to find out if something is good or bad. It's my logical thinking, right? Like my I started in the light, right? Well, actually, no, that's not true. I started in the darkness, but I'm talking about when I was a kid and ignorant, right? I didn't know all these things. I was just a kid. So of course you start out in the darkness, and then there was light, and that's exactly what happened. And then there was light. So as time moves on, I went towards the light, and then as I grew older, I went more and more back towards the darkness. But the thing is, I thought the light was supposed to help me because I'm an Aries, so we have combative spirits, right? So I thought the light was, so I was supposed to use the light to help me combat whatever evil spirit is in this world, right? Big mistake. Well, I don't know if it was a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. Nah, it wasn't a mistake, but maybe a little bit. But and nevertheless, that's not the point. The point is, I used the light for a long time, so I know that light can be useful, right? And you can find strength in light, and you can do many things in the light. But the thing is, when you have too much light and you become intolerant and ignorant and just judgmental, and you don't care about other people's feelings, you don't care about how other people might think, what other people might think. You're because basically, if you have too much light, if you're a light being, like let's say you're an angel, right? Let's say you're an angel, you have to hate everything almost about society. So you can't use drugs. Yeah, you hate drugs. You hate drugs like crazy, right? You would basically murder someone just for smoking drugs. You don't. You're probably not gonna like at least 85% of the black community if you're an angel. If you're complete light, you would hate at least 85% of the black community. That's a lot of black people. Trust me, it's a lot of black people. There's more black people on the planet than most nationalities. So, so that's a lot of black folks. And you would not be tolerant of almost any other kind of human, too, because nobody's perfect. But I'm not talking about being perfect. I'm talking about like people that have like misguided beliefs, because what the real, if you're a light person, you know what the real beliefs are. You know where people are lacking, and you know where people are lacking in the place that they don't care about lacking. I'm not talking about a guy that makes a simple mistake at the store or something like that. I'm talking about general people, right? Like right now, what's going on right now in the world right now, right? You are a light person, 100% light. You will not tolerate. You will find all of this unbearable. Like it would gnaw at your bones, and you'd be screaming of horror and rage. That's what a complete light person would look like, right? Like he would hate us with the most grandiose, pure, crystallized form of hate possible on the planet. It's that bad. I know because I felt like that too. I spent a lot of time being intolerant, and it gave me. I had a lot of trouble navigating through life because of that. Because I was intolerant and I didn't understand. Sure, there's other people like me on the planet. There's other people that are very intolerant, But and when you speak out your intolerance and then you express your intolerance, you'll find people that will be like, yeah, all the time. But that doesn't matter in any form that your expressionalist spirit comes. You will always find some people that are be like, yeah, like rock on, like that always happens. It doesn't matter what or who you want to be, there'll always be people cheering you on, right? So the beauty of finding darkness again is the freedom and the freedom that you have, the letting go of things, the not being worried about every single thing, not I mean, you're completely you're giving yourself stress. You're basically giving yourself cancer, because that's what cancer is. When you use the microwave, you're basically eating cancer, right? Because the microwave uses light to irradiate the molecules from yours. So basically, you're burning molecules in your food, and that's why it's hot. And burnt molecules are actually cancerous. That's what a cancer is. A cancer is one of your genomes, one of the molecules in your body, one of your DNA sequences that basically exploded. Right? It went nuclear, and when it went nuclear, it created a corrosion, and that corrosion starting to spread out and attach itself to other molecules in your body and created a sickness. So that's what cancer is. And so when you use too much light, you're giving yourself cancer. You're giving yourself cancer. So you gotta not give yourself cancer. What does all this have to do with soul snatching? Everything. I basically just told you everything you need to know about soul snatching. But do I believe it exists? Of course. Of course. There's I'm a Mayan. I'm an Aztec, right? I'm an Aztec. I love the Aztec religion. Well, the Aztec way of living, their astrology and ways of thinking are technologically more advanced that most people give them credit for, and they knew a lot of secrets. So it's always fun to study anything about Mayan and Aztec history. It's always fun. It's always interesting. They got like it's amazing. It's an amazing civilization. One of the biggest and best civilization to exist on this planet. Even though they believed in eating the hearts of their enemies to gain their souls and sacrificing, children and stuff, in order to get, what they wanted. But I hate to admit it, as much as I hate to admit it, it kind of looked like it worked. I mean, like, it's disgusting to say, first of all, but god damn it. I mean, when you look at their temples and their hieroglyphics, I mean, like, it's way too advanced for this society to be able to, I mean, like, we're talking about like people that live in the middle of the jungle, man, and they were capable of carving out solid stone slabs like it was like they were drawing on a piece of paper. I mean, like, it's that's beyond ridiculous. I mean, like, how did they do that? I mean, anyway. So as much as I hate the soul snatching part, as much as I hate the soul snatching part, I have to admit that there was probably they were onto something, whether I like it or not, whether I respect it or not. There was something there, just like the Illuminati, right? Like, the Illuminati have the same purpose, but shit. I mean, I have to admit that they don't do it for nothing. I mean, it's definitely working, whatever they're doing. I mean, like, they're not doing it for nothing. It might be stupid, it might not be necessary, but nevertheless, that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. So, so it is what it is. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. You got to give credit where credit is due, and unfortunately for all of us, it is what it is. So, rapturous creatures. I guess you're talking about vampires. I guess you're talking. I'm having. I think you want me to go to the past here. You still want me to go in the past, and I think you're talking about vampires, rapturous soul eaters. I think you're talking about vampires because vampire is basically what it is. I mean, vampirism is basically what it is. I mean, like, you're feeding off somebody else's soul. You're feeding off somebody else's soul. So, you know, uh, since you're feeding off of somebody else's soul, and that person is giving you part of its soul, and you're taking part of its soul, as the form of vampirism that I was talking about the other day, as the form of vampirism I was talking about the other day, I guess. Yeah, I do believe in soul snatching. So, give me a second here. As I was saying, soul snatching. Um, yeah, I totally believe in that. And if you're talking about, like, I feel like you want me to go back in the past, and yeah, the state of vampirism. I believe that a form, a true form of vampirism is going to come around. At the time of the rapture, we will see true vampires. I think real vampires with the fangs and all of that is gonna come around, like real fucking monsters are gonna come around, and they're gonna just feed on people. Of course, to us it's gonna look like they're just feeding on people's bodies, but in actuality they're actually feeding on the soul of people. I mean, um, I do think that Illuminati people, probably already have that vibe. They probably feel like real life vampires, because of all the blood drinking sacrifices and stuff like that. I mean, some people are supposedly addicted to adrenochrome, and if you look at some of the adrenochrome conspiracies theories out there, it kind of looks like it's true. I mean, like, there's a lot of superstars, there's a lot of celebrities since the lockdown started that looked a little bit off. Like they were missing something. And the worst part is people seem to forget that there was a lot of, like, police investigations related to that fact. I mean, like, the lockdown wasn't just for fun. It was the police that decided, FBI or CIA, that decided to put people on lockdown because they wanted to find some of the kids that people were claiming that disappeared. And unfortunately, they did find a couple things here and there. They did find a couple things here and there, bro. So yeah, that there's definitely a urban myth and a legend, or prophecy, if you want to call it that, that are probably coming to realization where we will see true blooded, real pure blooded vampires walking around in the fucking street. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. It could not happen, but if you look at it in a purely genetic form, it could happen because people change, people evolve, and if people are evolving towards negative things, yeah, I guess we can create our own monsters, and our own monsters can and probably will attack us. So anyway, And there's a lot of civilization that believed in, you know, soul eating and things of that matter, right? Like Egyptians were completely and utterly obsessed with death. You know, they were necromancers. They experimented on dead people all the time. Everything that they do has everything to do with with the dead, right? They were obsessed with knowing what's after death. They were obsessed with dead people and how they die and why they die, and all sorts of things, immortality, you know. So I hope this answers your video. I hope that answers your question. If you got any other questions, please let me know, and I'll try to answer you at the best of my capabilities. All right, see you guys later. Have a good one.